So this week, our guest is Professor Joel Friedman. He is a professor of law at Tulane University, and he also is the director of our Master of Jurisprudence program and many other amazing things that he does. He also is quite a big personality. People have a lot of opinions about Joel. He's come to talk to us about his life right now and teaching online. So this is Legal Journeys with ETG. I'm a professor at Tulane Law School, and while we're all sitting around, we're telling stories. We're learning about people. Joel's journey is pretty remarkable and awesome. We're focused right now on sort of how things are with him. Again, this is Legal Journeys coming out of Tulane Law School, and I'm Professor Elizabeth Townsend-Gard. And for everyone listening, we recorded this the first week of classes. We now are in the third week, and we're on spring break, but we're playing it today. What's happening? This is our first week of going online, so just kind of help us understand what's happening right now.
Well, like every other university that I know about, we've closed our courses in the classroom, and now everybody at the law school, everybody at the university, this is true at most universities, are teaching all of their classes online. This is not a very big deal for you and me because we've been doing this for years in online programming that we provide through the law school. But I was very pleased by the way my students in my labor law course responded. I taught yesterday, Monday at 8:30, from 8:30 to 9:51, as usual. And unlike as usual, every single student in the class was actually there, which was very impressive, and I was very heartened by that because I had been told by others in the law school that students were having a hard time and they couldn't access the internet and they wouldn't be able to do this. But certainly for the 40 students in my program, not only were they all able to be there with their cameras on and able to talk, but they seemed to be in good spirits. They seemed to be prepared and willing to discuss the matters just as we do every day in school. And really, my class yesterday morning was no different at all than my regular class. I could see them, they could see me. I asked questions. Sometimes they volunteered, sometimes I called on them. And we had a conversation as we always do. It was virtually, no pun intended, the exact same experience that we would have had if we had been in room 257.
Yeah, I feel the same way about sort of online teaching versus in-person teaching. There's different things that happen that you lose or gain from it, but in the sense that it's still the classroom, and I think that people should feel comfortable that just because we had to move online doesn't mean like we've stopped teaching.
For sure. You are right that it is not exactly the same in the sense that, as far as I'm concerned, there are many things that you can do online in the classroom that are much more difficult to do in the physical classroom in terms of integrating data and documents and graphics and videos and all of that. It's much, much simpler. It's hard for me to think of anything that I could do in the classroom that I can't do here, other than I can only see at any one time 25 people at a time. Yeah,
because of the way that we're in Zoom. Okay, I got a couple personal questions for you about your teaching style. So first of all, you are for our day students, you're one that they're very respectful of, and they're very afraid of being late to your class. Were people late? How was your attendance, and how was the on-time percentage? Was it different or the same as when you're in the classroom?
Well, you're right that I am obsessively concerned with people being on time, although I think that is a mark of professionalism. They expect me to be on time and vice versa. I was a little bit more accommodating in this context at least for the first class, because I wasn't sure if people would be able to connect very easily.
Yeah.
There probably were, of the 40 people who showed up, of which there were 40 in the class, probably were 5 or 6 maybe who weren't there exactly on time.
But they're trying. Yeah.
If you come in late to a physical classroom, it's very disruptive, right? Because of the way
it is.
With the doors in the front, everybody turns to look at the student walking in. It stops the flow of conversation. Here, it's the reason I don't know how many people came late precisely is because it's really invisible.
Yeah.
They're the ones, so they may not be in the group of 25 I can see at any one time.
Yeah, it's just not bad. It's not terrible. Yeah.
It's not distracting.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I don't like people coming into class late, not just because it's disrespectful to the rest of the students, but it's distracting to the students. And sometimes to me, as I lose my train of thought when I see them walk in. Didn't have that problem. Don't expect it to be a serious problem.
Yeah.
I'll probably be a little bit more accommodating because I am told the students feel that they're under a lot of mental stress and they're concerned, and I certainly don't want to add to that unnecessarily.
Yeah,
Despite
I mean we're in.
I want to.
Yeah. And I would say so you run our Master's in Jurisprudence program for, I've been teaching it forever. Do you say, what's the full title of the program?
It's a Master in Jurisprudence in Labor and Employment Law.
And it's for professionals. They have bachelor degrees, but they are getting a master's. It's not law school, and it's at night. I mean, it is law school, but it's not 3 years of law school. It's not a JD program. It's a different program.
It's not a JD program. It's not an LLM program. It's not designed for lawyers. Although, as you know, of the more than 300 students who have been in the program, we probably had 2 to 5 students who already had gone to law school. But that's the rare exception.
Yeah.
It's law content. It's labor law and employment discrimination law and other employment law content.
Yeah. And it's a really, let's just pause because it's a really great program. Tell us a little bit about that program since and we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between the JD and the MJ in just a second. But tell us a little bit about what that program is.
Well, as you said, it's designed for people who are in the profession, in the human relations profession, or those who want to be. The overwhelming majority of our students are those who are presently in that profession, and it is a profession, but it's a profession where the individuals come in contact with the law all the time in terms of avoiding problems before they occur, solving problems when they do occur. Every HR professional, whether it's dealing with sexual harassment or alcohol on the job or a million overtime or medical leave or pregnancy leave, just a million things. They come in contact with legal content all the time. And what we're providing is content in a way that they can assimilate. And then we are not only providing the content, but we're teaching them how to apply that content to the situations they are exposed to in terms of strategies and techniques and policies and the like. And they are highly motivated because they're doing it because they believe make them more valuable to their company, enhance their opportunity for mobility in the profession. And the indications are 60% of our students have already indicated that they've either been promoted or been hired into a higher paying job than they had when they started the program.
Yeah, it's you're changing their lives. Like I see this because I'm part of your program and I see them at the beginning, the middle, and the end. And they're becoming like superheroes. They know more. They are promoted. They are, even if they're not promoted, they're in meetings they weren't before. They know stuff that no one else knows. And they're so confident. They're like smart, confident, not obnoxious. They've been trained really well in this amazing way. I mean, I think your program is dramatically influencing HR and how we think about employment law throughout the country. It is so amazing to see. That's my thoughts.
Well, you're certainly right that because of an incredible group of dedicated teachers in which you are at the lead, although not the only one, but you are one of the best ones. You are certainly right that scores and scores of students have told me, have told you, have told Dean Meyer that this program has changed their life. And what's interesting, Professor Townsend-Gard, is that it's not only changed their life professionally, which is in itself very gratifying to you and to me and to the law school, but it's changed their life personally. Their level of self-esteem, their identity has changed. Many of them have told me, and I'm sure you, gee, Professor Friedman, I never thought that I could be a Tulane law student, which is, of course, exactly what they are.
They are, yeah.
JD degree, they're getting a Master of Jurisprudence degree, but they are in every way a Tulane law student. And they say, whoever thought that I could get a master's degree from any law school and then from Tulane law school?
I know, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal for them.
It's a big deal to them, to their families.
Yeah.
When they come, as you know, to graduation, they are just overwhelmed. Their families are overwhelmed with pride, as they should be, because they've accomplished an incredible amount. Because remember, unlike most of our JD students, unlike most of them, these folks have a full job. And they're doing this at night, on the weekends, over a 2-year period. They may have families and children and parents and all the rest.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot of sacrifice for them to be doing this program.
It's an incredible commitment on their part. Emotional, physical, intellectual, and of course, financial. And so they are very, very committed to this. And I'm sure you would agree, it's incredibly personally and professionally satisfying to us.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
All of us. Not
it's
just
incredible.
Me,
Yeah.
You and me, Professor Amanadzu, and all the others who are in the program. What you have done for these people is
it's and you can actually see it. Like I always want to take like that first session that I have with them and then compare it to the last one. They look different, right? They're more confident. They're just, I mean, it's just amazing to watch. It really is. And to be part of that. And they take what we give them and push it out even more, right? They take the knowledge and then they make it even better by what they're doing with it. It's just so cool.
Yep.
All right, so, and the program, just in case people are listening and they're interested in the program, you can go to the Tulane website, and I'm sure there's more information, and you can apply. And the cool thing about your program is isn't there an application period it starts every 3 months, so you can kind of start whenever you want to start.
Not quite every 3 months, actually every 4 months. We have 3 semesters.
Oh, every 4 months, right, 3 semesters, sorry, 3 semesters,
right.
Yeah.
And we take a new group of students, a new cohort, every single semester, not like the law school with the JD once a year. So people can start in the fall, at the late of August, or in January, or in May. And it runs for basically 6 semesters over the 2-year period.
And then the companies and the people that are there, it's from like independent contractors or consultants that are making their own business to medium-sized companies to very, very, very famous companies that we all use every single day. I don't know if you can name them.
Like Coca-Cola, like Walmart,
Amazon,
like
right,
Disney.
Taco Bell, right.
Also, Professor Townsend-Gard, also people who work for the government, both
Hugely.
federal,
That's
local,
right.
And we also have a few who work for unions.
So we also have K through 12 charter schools.
We run the gamut.
Yeah, we have public schools, charter schools, universities,
Yep.
medical, a lot of medical people in hospitals, in labs. We've got a ton that have contracts with the DOD, which is so bizarre. Like I get that a lot. It's weird. Everybody. So again, I think about your project. You had the vision for this, and as I said, not only are you empowering individuals, but you are changing how we think about employment law across this country in industry. And I can't think of anything more amazing than that, to be influencing how, from the biggest companies to the tiniest companies to a solo practitioner, that they're all on the same page of how to think about employment issues. And of course, like I think employment issues include intellectual property, but it's a big, big, big program and amazing.
Well, yes. And again, I want to emphasize that the success of this program is due to the work of a large number of people, not just the professors like you and me and Professor Matamanazzo and others, but we have an incredible staff. We have financial aid resources, people, and it's a big team effort. But everybody, including you and the others, are very, very committed to this. And I think you can speak for yourself. Certainly for me, it's been the most professionally rewarding experience of my life.
It's pretty cool.
Feedback I've gotten from the students and the impact. Because when you're in when you're teaching in the JD program, I'm one of 30 professors. I have some small impact, maybe on 1 or 2 or 3 students. Here, I'm one of a small number, and I teach, 1/4 of the whole curriculum. So I have the opportunity to really get involved with every single student in the program, and that's very meaningful to me. And also, I might add, another thing that's really great about this program is by far and by very, very far, super far, most diverse program, racially and gender-based, in the entire university.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's great. It's so great. And it runs the gamut on age and everything. It's amazing.
There are even people as old as me in this program.
As old as you. It's true. It's true. And as young as me. No, I'm just kidding. They're a lot younger.
That's right.
Okay.
It's true. We go from the mid-20s to the 70s.
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic. So what's interesting about this program, so you and I knew that going online with classes was going to be okay, but our faculty wasn't so sure. And today is our second day. So tell me how the transition's been, because you've been on the front lines of that with getting our traditional faculty online, and how the students are responding, how the faculty is responding.
Well, with the encouragement and support of the dean, I held a kind of instructional session for the faculty to teach them how to access and use Zoom in a very basic way. And our IT staff did the same for the staff of the law school and all the teachers. The beauty of using Zoom as our online platform for the live classes is that it's very simple to use.
Yeah, it is. We're using it right now.
There's really no learning curve once you've turned it on. Once you've downloaded the program and you get the URL, the locator for that particular class, boom, you click it and you're in. And certainly from the reports that I have circulated to the faculty, and Dean Meyer and Professor Howe all said that virtually every student came, they were all prepared, they were all ready to go. Class was basically like it always is.
Yeah.
Didn't seem any hiccups of any kind. So I think the students are taking to it. I know they're all dispersed. I asked my students, and most of the students in my class are not now in New Orleans, and there were many in different time zones. And so my starting at 8:30 Central Time may have been a little bit more difficult for those to the west of us, although it didn't appear that anybody was in the Pacific time zone. But I really think there's been no learning curve needed, and I think students have adapted to it very easily, and I hope that has reduced angst level.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing was much lower than the angst level of my colleagues, many of whom, let's just are not computer literate and certainly have never taught online, as I've done for over 10 years and you've done for several years.
Yeah.
Now that they've done it, they see it's not a big deal, and I think.
Yeah. Now, what about
the semester? It will be fine.
Yeah. Now, what about can we chat you're a parent of a college kid, and so you know this from the parent side of all of the disruption. So I'm wondering if you could sort of chat and sort of speak to the parent side of this, and how are you doing? How's your kid? I know you've got 2 kids in college and 1 graduated. How's that happening? And do you have any word out there to parents that might be nervous about what's happening?
Right. Well, I do have, as you know, twins, a boy and a girl, one at the University of Arizona and one at Arizona State. They're both juniors, both having internships for the summer. That's very important for juniors. We are lucky. My family is lucky because this is often a question of resources. Obviously, because I'm at Tulane, I'm not in a position where I've lost my job or I've lost my salary. Same thing is true for my wife. So fortunately, we have the resources to get my daughter from ASU. She's back here home. All of her classes are online. my son at the U of A decided he wanted to go from from Tucson, where the University of Arizona is, to Phoenix, where all of his friends live. And so he's living in the apartment that his twin sister vacated. So from that point of view, it's been very simple. I mean, he's not here, so I can't see everything he's doing. I'm hoping he's behaving in a safe way. I think he is. My children have not had any issues whatsoever in adapting to taking their classes online, but their experience may be different from others, people whose resources are not the same as ours, or maybe don't have access to the computer technology that my kids have access to. They may have a little bit more trouble. They may have younger siblings at home that they have to take care of, or, clean the house or go out and do the shopping. So I can understand that the stresses can be different, particularly if their parents are home, and if the parents aren't bringing in income, that generates a lot of stress. So what I would suggest to the parents, and what I've told my kids is, especially my daughter, well, for both of them, because my daughter's at home and my son is in a different place than his normal abode, I said, you need to keep a structure. Need to keep a schedule, because you lived on a kind of a structured lifestyle. When you were in school, you were going to classes at a certain time, studying at a certain time, eating, going to the gym or whatever it is you were doing. Try to maintain a schedule if you can, so your life isn't that disoriented.
Yeah.
I think if people can do that, whether it's, taking time to clean the house or do the shopping or go outside and take a walk or something, try a schedule. I think that really helps kind of maintain continuity of existence and reduce stress level.
Yes.
And try to find a quiet place. That may be difficult, depending on your living situation. Try to find a quiet place where you can do your work. That'll help you a lot also. That may mean scheduling at times when other people are sleeping, depending on, how much space you have wherever it is you're living.
Yeah. And I think, for parents, because my kid is taking classes online at Tulane and at high school, and what I think that it's hard for me to recognize, and I'm totally guilty of this, is that these kids have a lot to do. So, they're home, and they may look like they're not doing anything, but they have a lot of work to do. So, sort of recognize that if what may seem to you like they're not doing anything, that doesn't necessarily mean they aren't, because a lot of their work is online and other things. So, I think we need, as parents, to be respectful of the fact that they've still got a lot of pressure on them, and everything's changed, and there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of what the assignments are and what isn't and what's happening. And so we need to be supportive of our college and graduate school kids as they make this very hard transition, which they hadn't asked for.
You are right. I mean, it's in some ways much easier for law students because there are no laboratories, there's no facilities that you need. Basically, you need your books, right? And you can take them anywhere. My daughter, who's majoring in interior design, she spends most of her time in the design room, creating things, which of course she can't do anymore because the university is closed and she's home, and now everything is online. And so they had to find ways of doing it through computer programs and the like. So undergraduates can have a much harder time transitioning to a purely online experience when they were doing a lot of hands-on work.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that I would be thinking of is, I know that the summer's coming and everybody's worried about jobs. We all get that, and I think people are working on it, and we'll see what happens. But you're not going to get left behind, and people understand that this is a very strange time. Your other daughter's graduated. How is she doing in terms of her employment and her world?
Mm-hmm. Well, she was living in Pittsburgh. She was in a management training program for a major financial services company. And they told all thousands and thousands of their employees all over America to work from home. So when she heard that, she got on a plane. This was 10 days ago. And she came home, and every morning I see her with her computers, in conference calls with all of the people that were on her development team. But she's had no problem doing that. And fortunately, in her company, They haven't laid off anybody because they're still doing all their work online. And a lot of this was work at them because she's on a team that has people from various cities on the same team. So they were always working, virtually with each other. But for some people, it's not that simple. And, and you're right. Everybody's got to adjust to their new situation.
Yeah.
And believe me, I know about the summer because, as I said, my twins are juniors, and both in interior design, where a summer internship is actually a graduation requirement. For my son in business school, an internship this summer of his junior year is crucial in getting a job when he graduates.
Yeah.
And right now, both of them have one. But what does that mean?
What does that mean if you can't go? Right.
July,
Yeah.
And they may not.
Right.
But everybody will know next year that, well, you didn't have an internship because nobody did.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Nobody's going to really fall behind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we see that with, my kid's going to be applying for colleges, and like they've canceled the ACT and the SAT, and
right.
It is what it is at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know what with those high school seniors who had not yet taken the SAT or wanted to take it again. It's rough if they haven't yet gotten into their college of their choice. High school junior, right?
Yeah,
this
junior. Yeah.
Time when they start taking the SAT.
Yeah, all those things. That's right.
But we'll adjust.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be okay.
Everybody's in the same situation. It's not just Louisiana. It's the entire country.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we have one more topic and we're already at 25 minutes. So, see, it goes fast. So I want you to talk a little bit about your professional hat, because you do employment law and labor law is really a big thing right now because the whole world's shifting in crazy ways. So tell me a little bit about what your life is like right now with that, and what kind of issues are coming up.
Well, of course, we deal with these issues a lot in the online program in labor and employment law. And I'm getting texts and emails from our online students and from former students of mine who are labor lawyers all over the country, not knowing, exactly how to give counsel to their clients. And in fact, I was just on TV yesterday doing an interview explaining to people here in Louisiana what their opportunities are for paid sick leave and unemployment compensation and paid family and medical leave. Now we have a quarantine here in the state, and virtually everybody is not going to work and therefore may not be getting paid. I'm trying to do that, and then I'm also about to create a series of webinars with some very experienced labor lawyers that we're going to put out there for America to provide them with real important, up-to-date, because it's changing all the time, information on what the obligations of employers are and what the rights of workers are during this pandemic time when they're either on leave or on part-time or taking sick leave or whatever it is. There's a huge range of issues. And hopefully in about a month, we're going to have these webinars ready to go and available to the general public.
That's great. So if the general public hears this, or other people, how do they get in touch or get on a list, an email list, to be notified of that?
Probably they just have to, the best thing to do would just be to check the law school's website, law.tulane.edu. And once we have something to say about this, we'll be putting the word out there, and through press releases. We'll have a whole marketing team working on a marketing campaign. So it'll be out there.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best way, because I don't want to offer more than I have right now.
Yeah, no. It's all moving really fast. So even the fact that you're getting out within a month is just, astonishing.
Hopefully, yeah.
Awesome. Well, any last words for people as they sit in their house, do a ton of work? We're like overworked and trapped in our house. That's the way I feel at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to say to our law students, believe me, the dean and the administration and all of my faculty are keenly sensitive to the issues you are facing. We are trying to do our best by you. We want to make this as seamless as possible. We want to provide you with as close to the same experience that you would have had in the classroom. We're working really hard on that. We know there are difficulties that many of you are facing, and obviously if there are particular problems that you're facing, I urge you to contact either your professors or the dean of students at the law school, available, want to be helpful. But if so far you seem to be coping, then just keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on concentrating, because it's not only about the grades you're getting, but you're in law school because you want to learn something. And, how much you get out is a function of how much you put in. I believe the dean will soon be talking to you about what the grades will be, but that's secondary. Just hang in there. I say to children, all that we can ever expect of anybody is that they try their best under the circumstances.
Yeah. And you were, just to sort of say, you taught, you've been at Tulane a long time, and you were here for Katrina. I wasn't. But the Katrina class, this is a lot like the Katrina class in the sense of like everybody has to adapt, and sort of you kind of get through it, and it becomes sort of a badge of honor that you were in law school at a time when when the coronavirus was out. It'll be a thing you talk about the rest of your life.
I mean, this will be a part of my memories, just like our response to Katrina. It's a different response to a different situation, but it is, it was a unique response and something that people had to really work hard at. But I think if you ask people who went through that, they would say they prevailed ultimately, and they were none the worse for the academic experience.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with us on our first interview on a podcast that we don't know the name of. But I really appreciate your time and your thoughts. It's super awesome.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, hold on. Okay, so this was our first interview of our podcast, which we didn't even know the name of. So Legal Journeys. We are talking with people about their own personal journeys, how they're connecting, what their thoughts are right now. And thank you again, Joel, for taking some time to talk with us. You're always awesome. And we will have another episode next week.